awaydaysbeer.com. Proud to partner with Talking Town. For only $14.99, grab your ITFC Legends Pack from The Beat to Hoppy Robson to Brazil's Best and Pablo's Pal. Whatever you need, whatever you want. ITFC Legends Pack, $14.99 at awaydaysbeer.com. Grab it today. Mass Creations are proud partners of Talking Town. High quality web and software development. From web development to SEO and everything in between, make your vision a reality with Mass Creations. Call 07896 904 571 or visit masscreations.co.uk or email info@masscreations.co.uk. Mass Creations, proud partners of Talking Town. Don't forget, tell them you came from Talking Town to get 10% off. Best Burger in Stone proud partners of Talking Town. Call 01449 680 058 to book a table today.
Indicates an important announcement.
My friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Thursday night sport, football, ITFC, pub, banter, social, whatever you want to call it through these summer months, but we aren't going anywhere. And thankfully, the football club have decided to also equally not go anywhere and provide content after content after content. And when they won't, we'll provide our own. Anyway, welcome in, my friends. As Stephen says, pub chat time. Whose round is it? Not mine. Harry Butcher, congratulations, my man, on getting a new job. So pleased and proud for you. Ipswich Jules, nice one. Harry, congrats. Jason Clayton, quick question. While we wait, who is the best manager, Robson or Alex Ferguson? Oh, I'll ask both my contributors this evening that question. Get thinking, chaps. Who is the best manager, Boy Robson or Sir Alex? Good question. Season ticket, Jason says, I've never had a season ticket due to being in the military and always being posted abroad or away. I really feel a connection with the owners, and that's a thanks to you guys on Talking Town. Jason, thank you so much. Very kind words. Good evening, Josh. Good evening, Stephen. Rob in the room. Love to see it. The dog wants to play fetch. Of course he does. All professional here at Talking Town Towers. Rob Smith says, according to Bristol Post, 40 million cash fund. Wonder if this is true. I can already say it's not true. Harry Butcher. Colin, my man. Colin's in the room. Big bad Colin. Right. For those that did have season tickets this year, you may have got this wonderful little booklet in the post today, because I did, as you can see. It's titled, The Next Chapter Begins. It's going to be a game changer. But that took a lot of work on the old whiteboard in the PR department. But I like it all the same. Good work, lads. Or ladies. God, it's very Partridge-esque there, wasn't it, Adam? That's very Partridge-esque. By the way, it's not great, this new series. Anyway, I bring this up because I have the season ticket prices in front of me. If you want any questions on prices this evening, if you're thinking about getting a season ticket, if you're wanting to know how much your one would cost again or whatever, I will happily answer them while I'm moving the microphone back to my mouth. That always helps. Ben Moore, another shit day at college, but I'm glad to be back in the company of my Talking Town family. Ben, we love you and we appreciate you. And as always, Side note, not do it to yourself, Ben, but you can support us on Ko-Fi. I was going to bring somebody in before I go full full partridge. First question, Adam Flatt, Robson or Ferguson?
Bobby Robson.
Yeah,
Defo.
Defo. Not even a contest in your eyes.
No, well, you think of where he managed. He managed his national team. He managed England, obviously. Ipswich. He managed in Holland. He managed in Portugal. He managed in Spain. Pretty successful wherever he went as well. That's why I'm saying Sir Bob.
Okay, I'll ask Ben when he comes in. Did you enjoy my partridge-style drowning there at times?
I'm not driving a mini Metro, Martin. Definitely not.
Are you an Alan Partridge fan? Have you seen in the new series?
I haven't, to be honest. I'm more of an old school Partridge fan, to be fair. So
yeah, me too.
The Linton Travel Tavern.
Great.
Those Michael.
I was a big fan of Mid-Morning Matters on Sky when he went there. That was okay.
This is great banter.
This is great banter, and that was the last great.
Yeah, that was quite good. Sidekick Simon, wasn't it the guy's name who was with him?
Yes, Sidekick Simon. That's you got it in one, so you do know. Absolutely beautiful. Right. Did you receive your booklet today in the post, my man?
Not a season. Wasn't a season ticket holder, Martin. So no, I didn't.
Oh, ask me our first question then. Which seat do you want to buy next year, Adam Flatt?
I was thinking in the Gimp block.
The Gimp block. I'm not even going to go there. Not even going to go there.
Look at the pricing, Martin. It's how they've written it out. You see it. If you check on the pricing, how they've written the blocks and that.
Oh yes, block Gimp. Brilliant. There it is. Let me just turn it around.
Yeah, one of them maybe. That's
block
it.
Gimp. So. Brilliant. Right. Let's move it on. Let's bring in our wanderer. He is definitely our stargazer. Block Gimp. Brilliant. I hadn't noticed that, to be fair, because I've already got my ticket. Good evening, Mr. MilkTray man. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you, chaps. How are you both doing today on this wonderful, sunny, warm Thursday evening?
Very well, my man.
Good.
You know, ducking, diving, weaving out of social media controversies. Yes. I'm like old Muhammad Ali, me, just on the old go.
Yes.
But how has your day been?
Not too bad. Hectic, long, busy, but back here now on the fifth stand. My fifth stand.
I like that.
Happy to be here.
Where the seats are free, but you could contribute for a £5 a month.
You're very right, and I shall do actually. Can you tell me actually the price I'm renewing? So it's Churchman's stand, upper right-hand side, kind of perpendicular to the away fans. Upper right-hand side of Churchman's.
Yeah, I'm
south. Whatever you call it.
You see, I know it is Churchman's, but I'm trying to find what they're calling it.
Yeah, I know.
Sir Ralph, you're probably looking what, upper or lower?
Upper right-hand side, not the middle.
Yeah, see, they don't do upper right, left, centre. They do upper one to P2. So I'm going to go with one. Okay. You're looking at 589 of your Queen's English money. So,
okay, well, I hope it's worth the investment.
Well, it's certainly
I explained to my wife why we're not going on holiday this year. That'll be fine.
Fuck a holiday. Who needs one? They're overrated anyway. I mean, why would you want to go on holiday, Adam, when you could sit opposite somebody from Rochdale as their team gets hammered 5-0 by the Game Changer 20 crew?
Well, it won't be Rochdale, will it? They went down. It'll be Cheltenham or Cambridge or Morecambe, maybe, or Newport County.
Absolutely. Same thing applies. Just insert team name for the next 10 years.
Insert Tin Pot Lower League club into here. Do you know what? I think I'm gonna see how the summer goes, because I think the early bird price is on until like literally the eve before the season starts. So
really?
I think I'm gonna I think it's normally the early birds in like April, so you have to make your mind up quite quickly, don't you? Your previous seasons
You're right.
have had
6th of August.
So it's right. That's the Friday before the season starts. So the season will start on the 7th.
Wedding anniversary. Oh, the 9th. I saw it and thought that rings a bell for a reason. Sorry.
So obviously you can sort of see what's happening in the summer. See the drama unfurl throughout the summer before sort of making a decision. I know it sounds pretty shit to me, but who knows what's going to happen this summer? But I think I'm gonna take my time with it. I think so.
Lewis Robertson, as you're working your way across the screen from left to right, it's the 3 stages of man receding.
Cheers, Lewis.
Thank you, mate.
From left, so I'm number 1. So I'm still hanging on in there.
Yeah, right,
as somebody points out, Ben, if you do the early bird, as Adam was detailing there, it's 470 quid. So you do save £100. So you could get Bognor Regis in.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it could go for a Stockport budgeons. Yeah, a sort of a budget. Okay, lovely. Yeah, done. Excellent.
Beautiful.
Most happy.
Sounds good. Sid's going to go for a brand new purchase in the Sir Bobby Robson lower section 4. That will cost Sid early bird £352. Absolutely. Now, last night the FA Cup, FA Youth Cup. I do apologise. Sadly, our valiant young town side got beat by what was in the end a stronger Liverpool side. What did you catch the game, Ben? If you did, what did you think of it?
Watch the highlights. And I've read a lot of what people have said, and I read really encouraging words like guts, heart, honour, representing the club well, fight, passion, all of these kind of ingredients that we've all kind of felt have been missing throughout the year. So I think my congratulations goes to the boys that, you can walk away off the field with your head held up high. That's not something a lot of players have been able to do this year. So, take a bow. You've done good.
Adam, how about yourself? What did you make of their effort?
I didn't see it, I must confess, and I haven't watched any highlights, so
get lost then. Plastic fan.
I'm a busy man, Martin. Look, it's a really good achievement for these lads. You think Liverpool, they're up against the team that scouts all over Europe just for their young players. I think I made a comment in the chat yesterday. We haven't got a scouting network at all at the moment. And Liverpool have a scouting network for their youth team, and they're bringing in lads from Germany's under-17 sides and Polish internationals. So these lads it's really good to take Liverpool, as far as they did. They weren't disgraced. But we'll see. As I've alluded to before, you look at the whereabouts of the 2005 FA Cup youth team, and they're all out of the game or playing non-league. So there's no guarantee these boys are going to make it. But who knows? Let's just see how it pans out and what Demolition Man does with the
and we'll come on for that a little bit shortly. Steve Davis to apologise. Ben, can you raise your little pinky while drinking your cocktail?
This is a pina colada Baileys, and it is like angels pissing on your tongue. Fantastic.
Take your word for that, my friend. Take
Wonderful.
your word for that. I prefer. No, pina colada. It's not a bad cocktail. It's not my go-to cocktail.
How do you think I get all this chest hair? It's literally that.
I've now got to put a warning on our YouTube video, Ben. You showed a bit too much chest there.
Yeah, don't be hating because you got it. Look at that.
If we're talking about partridge, Martin, it's a ladyboy chaser, isn't it? A pint of lager, a gin and tonic, and a Baileys.
Yeah, Cuba Libre is mine. I love a Cuba Libre or a mojito. But I'm not big. I'm more of just a real Alm fan, from our friends at Away Day Beers. Yep. Blue Lagoon says Sid Driver 2 for 1 in spoons. Trust Sid. He knows his onions, does Sid.
He does.
Ben Moore got into college this morning in Cambridge, and my Liverpool follower mates said they'd battered us, which surprised me because they struggled against the Category 2 Academy side. Well, yes, but Liverpool fans often say their team battered people.
Not this season.
No, that's true. Colin Plum. True, Adam, but I believe at least 2 of our players will make it. ITFC, definitely. And I reckon he means Liam Gibbs there, because I don't know if you know, Adam, but Colin knows the Gibbs family. He doesn't mention it at all. Doesn't like to say much, but he does. And I'm going to make him really embarrassed.
I'm glad Colin's got faith in these youth team players, because I just don't know this summer and what happens with this football club. Anything could happen. It really could. You just don't know. We're living in uncertain times now with Ipswich Town. You can't take anything for granted anymore.
It could be a really good asset because the FFP don't apply to homegrown players under 20, but of course that means nothing if they're not good enough. So it'll be really interesting to see if any players do actually come through. I like to hope they do. I mean, it's where our history is at. But do you know something? I think we're at the stage where if they're not good enough, then there can't be sentiment. Then you buy the players in who are good enough. As much as I would love to see it, it'd be fantastic. But if you're not good enough, you're not good enough. You don't get in. The price of admission is now high.
Yeah, well, and Alan was saying there about certainties and not, on uneven ground and blah, blah. But the players, Ipswich Town, the senior players now coming on to Cookie and the Demolition Man. Reports today, reports from Monday. I'm not going to start that controversy again, whatever it may be, whichever one you listen to, read, whatever. All the players, including those under contract, obviously, have been told that they are free to find clubs. Uncertain times, ahoy. Ben, what do you make reading that?
I find it's interesting because there seems to be a lot of blowback about this, and I spent a week kind of offline and not reading things and come back on it, and I've seen there's a real kind of juxtaposition of ideas here. Some people are massively for it. It's everything we've been asking for a long time, and some people are completely opposed to it. Now, he was Paul Cook within, about 7.5 minutes of the season ending. The fact that he hadn't been 25 players immediately and they're kind of leaving at shoulder at the door. People are destroying him for it. We've only released 8 players. We need more than that. They're rubbish. And then he goes and says, actually, they're all up. And some of them are going to try and do with deals and with money, with swaps, and to actually use them strategically. Well, you can't have it both ways. He's doing exactly what he said he would do. And he's done this at his 2 previous clubs and done it very, very well. Now, I agree that there is a lot of uncertainty about that. There's something about letting something go that we're all used to, even if it's something we don't like. If we're moving a house because you don't like your house and move into a new one, you've always got loads of uncertainty. And I think this massive transition, and it will be by the time all is said and done, this will be a complete transition. Just you wait. But that does come with fear, and people are scared of what they don't know. But I tell you what scares me more is what we do know. And what we do know, we've just seen 46 games worth. We do know that the squad we have are not good enough. We do know that the players we have in the team cannot perform. We do know that with the incentive that their careers and their contracts are up for grabs, they do not produce the stuff on the field. Those are the things we do know. So I personally think there's a room for a little bit of what we don't. Bring it on. You want change? This is what it looks like.
Adam? So I was just looking at this picture here of the game changers. I've not seen that one before. Is
that the one where they're celebrating with Drogba?
It's a Phoenix Rising game. Look at Detmer in the middle there. We'll get onto him a bit later on, but good grief, that is passion. Love it. Sorry.
Can't see Marcus Evans doing that.
I think
he's over there somewhere.
Stroking his white cat in his volcano underground lair. No, I think look, I think I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine with it. I've got no problem if that's what Paul Cook wants to do. Let's be honest, we've all said the same thing throughout this season on this show. Matchday tickets that you've done, Martin, we've come on afterwards and said this lot are a load of shit, they need to go. So I'm absolutely fine with it. Comes with massive risk, because if it goes wrong, then, well, stand by then, because things might get bumpy. But it also comes with, if it gets it right, then it could be amazing. If you're to believe the caliber of player that they're looking for is going to be 2, 3, 4 times better than what we've currently got at the moment, then that can only be a good thing. And sorry, Ben.
You go, mate. Sorry, I interrupted you.
And sort of as we talk about our youth players and things like that, and it is nice to watch a team with players that have come through the academy, but we've watched Kenlock, Downs, Dazelle, Wolfenden, Dobra, and we've just had arguably the worst season in the club's history. So I want to support a winning team. I want to support a team that wins games of football. And if that means that we don't have academy players in it, then you know what? I'm fine with that. I really am.
Yeah.
Here's a different question. Here's the same thing, but from a different angle. Tell people saying it's unsafe, there's too many unknowns. Give me a safe way to get us promoted. What, keep 8% of them, get a couple of good players in, spend large wages on just 2 or 3? Give me a safe way. Give me a way without any risk whatsoever. I'm intrigued. There's the comment section. Give me the safe way. Give me the thing that's guaranteed, no risk. We get promoted.
The link in as well for those that want to come on and have their say on either point. Obviously, there was a bit of a meltdown on Twitter this morning. So proud at that point in the day that there wasn't Cruncher involved. We'll ignore what happened later in the day. But
didn't see all that.
But yeah, the biggest sort of blowback, I guess, was the youth players, wasn't it, Adam? And the ripping the heart and the soul, or whatever it may be. I didn't really read much into it. I think I was too busy being ill. But had a COVID jab yesterday, in case you didn't know.
Oh, right.
Oh, man, I thought you seemed a bit sort of...
it's hit me like a bastard.
I was in bed for 2.5 days, convulsing and shaking, but glad and lucky I had it. God bless him.
I feel like I've been run over by a truck and then it's backed over me.
Mine's on the horizon. Mine's on the horizon at some point. I think I'm imminently due a message. My missus has got one coming up, so I think mine's in the post, definitely. So
you see, I had the Pfizer, and the Pfizer first time round was fine. Not even a single strand of headache. The second one, good grief, not me. Anyway, not me for shit. But yeah, that's the major blowback. The identity of us as a club, you know, the academy and Downs and Wolfenden, etc., etc. But these players have got to go, though, haven't they? People are actually going to want to line up and bring them in.
Yeah, I was thinking this. You
Is
mentioned
there a market
about
for Holy and Cornell.
Look, I wrote. Look, Martin, I did some prep today for this show because that's the kind of guy I am. You know,
he's learning.
Nice.
I think we'd be lucky. And I'm looking here. I take Dazelle, Downs, Wolfenden, Dobra out of the equation. I think we'd be lucky to get 6 figures for any of our other players. I think we're talking 5-figure sums for some of them. You think Donatian was going to go, what, £50,000, wasn't it? They were suggesting, wasn't
nominal
it, in January?
fee, yeah, 50.
Who's paying any more than that for some of our players? I mean, and also now
to do my garden. Jesus.
Our hand is so much weakened now because we've put our cards on the table. Balls out, you know, they know what the score is now. They know we want rid of all these players. So I don't think we're going to be in a position to. Don't think we'd be end of peer double up for Holy now.
Score.
Biggest on.
And I was thinking, how much could we get for Dazelle, Downs, Wolfenden, and Dobra? And I'm thinking max 2 to 3 mil for all 4 of them.
You're optimistic.
I think we'd struggle to get, but that is being optimistic. So. But there was interest in them. I think we'll get shot of them, and I think they'll all go on to have half decent careers. But I just think, like Mike said it before, the Marcus Evans stink of this football club and the mediocrity and the standards is so ingrained now that I think we just have to start it again. And some of these lads will go on and have good careers. I think that's right. I think they are all good footballers. I don't think we doubt that. But
they're not a good team.
But they need to go to a better side or a side away from Ipswich, the comfort of Ipswich to pursue their careers.
You need a fresh start. You know, these guys, we don't have talent, but as the saying goes, every man's ex-girlfriend is another man's wife. Just because it doesn't work in one doesn't mean to say it won't work in the other. So go and be someone else's wife.
What's it?
Go McGoldrick your career. Go and do a McGoldrick. Go to the team where you just fit in.
They're not a good team. They're not a good.
No,
they're
not
individually quite good. I don't think they are, by the way, and I don't think they all have good careers. But as a team, you know, FIFA. I don't play FIFA, but on FIFA they've got this thing called team chemistry. Well, our chemistry would be bloody in the minus figures.
Well, Martin, look at some of the previous youngsters that we've had, right? Someone like Jack Marriott, highly thought of at Ipswich. I don't know whether it was an attitude thing. He had to leave to go and pursue his career and went and forged a half-decent career out for himself at Peterborough, at Derby. Jordan Rhodes. You know, and I think there was some surprise when we let him go. I think probably because Connor Wickham was coming up in the wings and maybe looked a more sellable asset.
He mentioned it in his book, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So some of these players just have to leave. I think, you know, and you see it up and down the country. Teams let players go all the time who then go on and have really good careers. It just doesn't fit at some clubs. And I think all these 4 lads, if they leave and they go on and have great careers elsewhere, I don't think it will surprise anybody, but I just think they need to go from Ipswich personally. Right. I think they need to get out of town.
Yeah. All right, Big Al. Good luck tomorrow for the second jab. Colin loves the energy, Ben. Stephen.
Love you, Colin.
Welcome
in.
Man. What are you thinking?
Well, I've reversed course. This is why I love this pod so much, because I listen to people and my views change. You know, I wasn't where Mike was not so long back. You know, I was totally against getting rid of some of these, but I've thought about it and it's moved, and I'm more where Mike is a few weeks ago now. The simple fact is, you know, I've watched us play, and I've watched other talented young lads play. You know. And some of them aren't in good sides, like that Twine from Swindon. He's not in a good side, but he stands out. You notice him. Ours just drift through games, and you get the odd flash, and that's it. It's gone. But he stands out, and ours don't. So it makes me think, well, either the player's wrong, or they might be good individually, but as a collective, they're wrong. Yeah? But unless you change the whole thing, you don't know anything. And like I said, I also said that, like, when Emmanuel left, he needed to go, and he went to Hull, and he become not a brilliant player, but a better player than what he was when he was here. And I think that's what's going to happen to all these lads. They're going to go somewhere else. Some might fall by the wayside. Some might have good careers, but that's football. Not everyone makes it. You know, you've got to know that before you go into the game. I see all this saying, you know, well, it's not fair. Some don't make. Well, sorry, that's life. Some don't make it. There's only a certain amount of spots in the Premier League, and most of them are filled by foreign players. So you know you've got to judge it by that. And if we keep them in the side, the likes of Gibbs and that are never going to be. You're never going to try them, because they're blocking a path for everybody else behind them. If they're not going to, you know, like I said, Bishop's been here 7 years. If he's not done anything by now, he's not. Can we just move him on, bring someone else through, give him a go? Yeah. In a couple of years, if he doesn't do anything, move him out, bring the next one in.
So you're talking about ruthlessness is kind of what I'm getting from that. Be more ruthless about.
Everybody else is. We are far too sentimental with our young players.
Amen, brother. Amen.
I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm totally reverse course on this. I'm not saying I don't love a good young player coming through, but if it's at the detriment of the team, I don't want it. I want a successful team. I don't want a team full of young players who are going to stay in League One forever. If that means we stay in League One forever, we need to be a bit more cutthroat, a bit more rigid. Some of them lads I saw yesterday, and I watched the full match, some of them lads I saw yesterday were better than anything we had in the first team. And they're in the under 18s. They're being blocked off by these people. I'm sorry, I think it's time to just clear the decks. Got a good squad in, yeah, and then drip fed one or two throughout the season. You know, have a good core of the squad. Every now and again, take out a player, put in a younger player, see how he goes with the squad around him. So it's not just like 4 young players in like 6 old players who are knackered, who can't run. You know, it's like 1 player in a team that knows what he's doing. So if he makes a mistake, he's got 10 players around him who can cover. That's what we need.
It's a great point, Stephen. It really is. It's a really good point. And Adam, to build on that, could it be a cold, hard slap in the face for these players? Because you all can go, be it come August, you're still here. So nobody wanted you. Nobody wanted you. Pull those socks up, work harder.
I don't know how you'd come back from that, though. Is that basically being told that, you know, I think some people are suggesting that maybe this is some kind of psychology from Cook to try and G some of these players up, to try and sort of drive home that they haven't made it and they're going to try harder. But, you know, he sort of basically said they're not good enough. I don't see how that is a motivation. He's not said to any of these lot, go away, try harder when you come back. He's basically said they're not good enough. They all need to leave. So I don't see how, if any of them are still here in, you know, the last few weeks of the season, how it would be a good thing to have them around the club. It would surely be a bad thing, wouldn't it? You wouldn't want players that clearly don't want to be here, the manager doesn't want them here, stinking the place out for pre-season, would you? Or, you know, being, you know, infecting the, you know, the new squad of players and that. So I don't know. I mean, are we going to see lots of mutual consents if it comes to sort of late July and some of these lads aren't in? I think we might do.
I thought I read they're not in the market of doing that though. I thought I read that they're not interested in paying contracts up. It's if a club comes in for you, we won't stand in your way type of deal. So your agent's free to go and work the phone, as it were.
So does that mean that we're just going to take whatever then for these players? We're just going to take nominal, sort of minuscule fees for these players?
Every club wants to refresh come the end of the season. Doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, they want players. Yeah, and even if it's clubs in League 2 and Conference, they want players. They might not have money, but they want players. Maybe they've got a player we want. We could say, like, well, I'll tell you what, you have this guy, and we'll have him at a few quid. Yeah, we'll give you a few quid and this guy. And they'll say, right, fair enough. We want someone in that position. Or they might only have like £5,000. £5,000's better than nothing. Last week, contract runs out, you get nothing.
Wages.
It's all business.
Comes down to wages.
The reason why these year extensions were put on there is because at the end of this month, they'd have got nothing. Yeah? End of this month now, we'll get at least £5,000 or whatever for a player. If it's 5 figures, we get 10 grand, which is 10 grand more than we would have got. And that's all it's about. It's business. It's cutthroat business. And that's the way we need to move. We've been far too long drifting around saying, oh, what contract's gone? We've lost it. No, we'll get a good young player. Someone comes in with 10 million, he's gone. We'll get another one. That's the way we're going to have to work. We're going to have to be smart. We're going to have to be nimble, and we're going to have to be ruthless. And that's the best way to run a club.
Stephen, as always, appreciate it, buddy. I really do.
Great points.
Thank you so much. Really good points. Yeah. Few comments there. Emerson Fairweather, with the structural blocks being put in place off field, that should improve the on-field performance. Yeah, absolutely. Empowering football brains to do football decisions. It's a novel idea, but I don't think it'll ever catch on, do you? Chris Boyd, the reports of the conversation were brutally honest, so the kids will be in no doubt they aren't wanted here. Steve Davis, well, you did say you couldn't trust any of them, so I don't know how much more honesty they wanted. Steve Davis, when will we start to see the new signings in?
I think when Ashton comes in, when Ashton drops in 1st of June, I think that's a lot of contracts run to 1st of June, doesn't it? So I think once that day comes in, you'll see a lot of stuff happen. Just a quick one, Martin. People worried about this hard reset. I looked at Blackpool, who finished 3rd, and if the season had probably gone on a little bit longer, they were in form far better than Sunderland were. They probably would have pushed for automatic promotion, I think, if the season would have been a little bit longer. I looked at the squad where they played against Doncaster, which was the game they needed to get into I think they needed points to get into the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. They had 12 players in the squad of 18 that had been signed at the beginning of last season. 4 loans, 6 signed permanently, 2 signed in January, February this year. And then you've got 7 weren't even in the squad that had been signed this year. So what's that? 17, 18 players that they signed at the start of this season. They only had 4 players, I think, in the side that had been there any longer than that. And one of them, I think, was there longer than before the start of last season. So, and they finished 3rd. I don't know, we beat them twice, but they're the form team going into the playoffs. And, people sitting there thinking these hard resets don't work. Well, I think Mike D's mentioned it as well. Lincoln did exactly the same. And these 2 sides are in the playoffs.
And they're 2 more successful. Sorry, Ben, I'll come back to your second successful story. But Gillingham did 11 players in the summer, and they had what they would call probably a good year for them. Now we're hopefully fishing in a bigger pool for bigger fish than Gillingham, Lincoln, or Blackpool. But maybe at this level, Ben, it's one of those things. Maybe it's done. Maybe this is what happens.
Let's look at where Blackpool were before they'd done this. I mean, they were a basket case of a club. Their finances are all over the place. The stadiums all over the place. It was an absolute shambles from top to bottom. Now, as bad as we've been, I don't think we were anywhere near what Blackpool were. I think they were in danger of actually completely just dropping all the way down to non-league. We're not there. And I think there is still this. I think we're still catching up to the idea that we're actually doing this with money. We've been so used to not having any. It's like if your really horrible partner suddenly starts giving you lots of kisses and cuddles. You think, what the fuck is this? What are we doing? What have I done? It's a bit like that with Ipswich, isn't it? We've had every season we go into, we're going to get loaned, we're going to swap for a freebie. We're doing this with money behind us. And I know one of the criticisms, everyone's going to know we've got money. Yes, they do, because we've been bought out by an American consortium. They know that already, but they've said they're going to spend it. It's the one difference we haven't had before. So I'm actually quite optimistic about kind of where and how we invest. As far as getting fees for players, who cares? Get rid of them for 150 quid. It's the wages you want to save. It's the wages. It's all in what they get paid, not what they're worth. That's how you build a squad.
We're also a big squad. We're also a big team. You know,
Huge.
if you go off the SCMP turnover, obviously this is pre-COVID now, it's something like between sort of 12 and 15 million. So you're still talking a fairly hefty, but certainly a heftier budget than Lincoln or Blackpool or whoever.
Yeah.
You know, and people will say that last one was a salary cap. Yeah, but every team could spend £2.5 million in wages. AFC Wimbledon could, but they couldn't afford it. Lincoln, etc. Just because the league said you could spend that doesn't mean clubs all spent £2.5 million. The same thing here. There's no need to, you know, certainly panic, but yeah, some of the stuff you see is quite over the top. Ronnie Marjoram. Cook has done it elsewhere, which he has, and achieved. The stats speak for themselves. You have to let the past go. Look at the caliber of play we can bring in opposed what we have.
A real good thing. I'm going to give a positive here. I love giving a positive after a negative. We only have to win 4 more games than we won this year. And this has been the worst year of football any of us have ever seen. I wouldn't even class some of it as football. We don't have to get another 40 points. That's not the level we're pushing at. We have to win a few more games than we did now. This league, don't underestimate how absolutely shit it is. We don't have to go and spend £20 million. We've got to win 4 more games. That's it. Than this season. And we didn't score in 800 minutes. That's all that we're asking for with the squad of what next season's going to be. We don't need to win it with 15 points clear. We need to just get in at least the playoffs next year. Wonderful it is automatic, but playoffs, that's another few games won. That's all we actually have to do. This league is shite.
Yeah, it really is. I'll bring in Lee because Lee wasn't happy on Monday, as I was. Don't mention the trigger word. Lee, what do you make of it now?
I think it's a lot better now. I think I said on Monday about the, we'd released the players that we had done, but what we hadn't done, we hadn't said to the others that they could find clubs. I think that's what I said on Monday, but that's now happened.
It was really poor, wasn't it, Monday? Let's be honest. Communication was...
Yeah, it was half a... to me, it was half a job. I think they could have released it all together, to say, these are the players that are gone, and everyone else, or whatever it is, can go find a new club. It just seems strange that that's sort of leaked out, which I don't understand. But that still doesn't understand why. I still don't get why we're giving Drinnan a contract. But let's not go over. Let's not
trigger.
Calm. Let's not go roll ground on that one. But that's happened. So and it's a bit like Bishop. We've given Bishop a contract, haven't we? Or the club have, and then but he can still go. So there's still a bit sort of a confusion to me. And I think what Ben Adam said earlier about we've almost laid our cards on the table, haven't we? By saying that our most sellable assets, we can now turn around and say, right, you can find a new club. So has the value of what we could have got for those players now dropped? And even though we've got money, you still got to, it's still a business. You've still got to get back what you can for players, and the real, the resale for the Mars bar that we'll get for Drinnan, will go a long way next season. But I just think also now that's been announced, we've got to trust Cook, haven't we? I've always championed Dizelle. I've done that for a long time, and Hox, if you're watching, thanks very much for your concern on Twitter for me, about that. I am seeking therapy on missing out, on poor old Dizelle having to leave. But at the end of the day, sorry. But at the end of the day, we've got our own players. We think what we think about players, but we've got to trust Cook. He's the manager, isn't he? He's got to pick the team, and it's really important that as a club we all get behind him and just support the team and let him do what he needs to do. Because like any manager in the end, he'll be judged on his results, won't he? He'll be judged on where we are. And I know, Martin, you said the other day about, I think when, not Brett, when Mark was on, you said something about 9 games or something like that. Some of the fan base will only give him 9 games. But look where Oxford have been. Look where Oxford were 9 games ago, or 9 games into the season. And look where they've ended up. The season's a long time. We've got to give Cook a full season. We've got to back him to the hill. The fans have got to stay together.
I'm on that train. I'm on that train.
You weren't.
Yeah,
you weren't.
I've changed my mind.
There's no way that Ashton and the Three Lions guys are going to completely back Paul Cook to completely get rid of everybody in this squad and then only give him 10, 15 games. It's just not going to happen. No. They're going to give him the season, I think. They're going to allow him. They're going to allow him to bring all his own guys in and then go from there.
They won't be patient forever. I'm not putting a time scale on it.
They won't be. No,
but they're not going to be patient forever, and they don't want to be playing League One football this time next year. They want to be talking about the Championship as soon as possible. And he's had my point, just to pick up what Lee was saying about what I was saying, he's had a body of work that you can't ignore, and the owners won't ignore. And if you have a hangover, however much you say, the players aren't gelling or whatever, if you have a hangover and you've brought in a better caliber of player, there's going to be a question of, well, you didn't do well last year. You're not doing well now. The players are better. You brought in your own players. It's still not going. That's what I'm talking about. All those different ingredients and the expectation of fan bases will be huge. Let's be honest.
It's the curse of all managers. It doesn't matter whether if Jurgen Klopp, if he loses, 6 out of 15 games into next season, having underperformed this one, guess what? He gets the same questions asked to him.
What Cook needs is
why you pay 10 grand a week.
Yeah, and what Cook needs is the Lambert run of luck on the fixtures. Look at Lambert's run of fixtures this year when we first kicked off the season. He got so lucky. Such a easy run of games that got him back into it, back winning. Fans then had to take a step back and say, well, we're winning games now. The worst thing for Paul Cook will be Sunderland if they stay down, the 3 teams coming down, Charlton and Portsmouth for his first 6 games, because that will be a nightmare start if you do not hit the ground running, and that's what can work out like. So
they do need to roar out of the blocks definitely at the start of next season. I think they certainly do, but they
can't fall flat.
They need to score some goals, don't they? We need to see some goals, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're seeing decent performances and a 1-0 with a 1-1 and a 2-1 over the course of 10, you'll be like, well, once these players gel, there's a little bit of a squad there. The worst thing you can do is come out lose 4. And pick up 2 draws and then win you're going to be nervous is the word I think maybe we'd use. Rob Smith, Cook's honeymoon period is over. The real stuff started last Monday. Colin Plum, we need to be in the Championship by next season. Full stop, lads. Neil Perks, bar the injuries. I feel KBY is a player Cook likes. I wonder if he'll keep him on. Yeah, but I say it with Norwood. If Norwood could stay fit, big if. If KBY can stay fit, big if. Too many ifs, and that's what you don't want, really, because you end up with Hawkins being your main striker for 6 months. Not good. Steve is, I need to say the other one, but I don't want to get triggered again. Stephen Parry, that goes again in the league is crap. We start every season quite well. We do have the fixtures are kind, you just know it's going to be Portsmouth, Sunderland, Charlton, Wickham.
But do you know what? Who knows? We live in a strange time. Maybe they are the first 6 games. Maybe we win 4 of them, and that set the precedent for the season. Football's a strange old game.
It is. Lee, I love you. I appreciate it, buddy.
Cheers, guys.
Callie, how you doing, my friend?
Callie.
Are we doing all right, lads?
Yeah, good, man.
Good, man.
What are you going to say?
No, it's good. Just a bit of a meltdown, isn't it? Everyone's just going a bit crazy. But I think the one thing we've got to realise is this kind of reset on the squad, like the 56 or however many thousand players we've got contracted. It's not going to be over one transfer window. It will be, you will see things maybe carry through to January.
Yeah, January. People keep forgetting we got a second bloody transfer window. Yes. Absolutely.
Well, this is it.
In the know, Callie, ITKK.
No. You need to change my name to not in the know. That you fucking hell, Matt and Cruncher got my notifications just hammered.
Oh, welcome to my world.
Fucking like, what the fuck, man? But no, it's one of those, like the Cook thing. In terms of, I said before, I think he'd only have 10 games. I've done a John Nolan 180.
Callie Ashton.
After what I found out before, I think he's going to be here for the whole season, and I think he's good enough to be here for the whole season and build his squad. Like Adam said earlier, he's done it at Wigan and Portsmouth or whatever, ripped it out, put the people in he can trust, and we're not dealing with let's find a lower league League 2 players, the next League 2 players we need to gel in. We'll be finding players that either know this league or play and performing well in this league, or mid-level championship teams. I don't think Cook and Ashton are building a team to say, right, we're going to build a team now, and then next summer we've got to find another 6-7 players. No, next summer they want to be in a position where we just need to add 3 or 4 faces to be a mid-level championship team.
But that player who was,
big.
who is it who played for? I said it on the podcast a while ago. The one who I think was playing for, was it Crewe or Stevenage, who absolutely destroyed us? The whole midfielder.
Kirk.
Is it
Kirk, Dow,
Charlie Kirk.
You've got several at Crewe. They're a good little unit. Then
Was it Crewe though? Yeah,
whichever player it is, they're a good example though, Callie, that you're trying to highlight there, because Crewe came up from League Two. That wasn't by accident or anything. That was like a 6-year plan. They came up, added a couple of players, added every single season. Was comfortably. Yeah, because it was an accumulation of a plan. Yeah,
and we can do, and that's what I honestly think.
Mike D.
That's Rochdale.
Rochdale, yeah, I thought it was wrong. Rathbone.
Yeah, he's a good player as well. But I just think you'll be seeing a different caliber player. You'll be seeing players that leaders. You'll be seeing more leaders, right? Because as much as I love Chambers and Scouse, they were the only real leaders that we had. So you'll be seeing more leaders around. You'll be seeing a championship team. Because let's not kid ourselves. Since just before the Hurst era, we were becoming a League One team, and Hurst kind of just confirmed it. Yeah. So all this talk when we come down, we're going to piss the league and all the rest of it. We were at our level, mate. We are at our level, and it's been proven over 2 seasons.
Yeah.
We're an average.
We were with Evans, yeah.
And,
not now.
And the reset button had to be pressed, right? And it's going to be painful because people like Dazelle, I rate Dazelle. If Leander is the president, I'm the vice president, right? But I'm not just a vice president; I'm a customer too, right? But seeing him probably, end up he'll go to a championship team and fit right in, right? And I think he'll be fine. Downs will go, Wolf will go. You'll see a lot of them will go, but then you'll see other players come in that you'll think, oh, I didn't even think we'd sign that person, or oh, I didn't even know that person was available. I think the Callum Connolly thing, that would be a really good signing. And was he captain of Fleetwood this season, I think?
Yes, he was,
yeah.
And he's only young, isn't he? He's like 23 or something. So, you're talking about building something. I don't know. Maybe he does a 10-year stint like Chambers.
Possibly. Ronnie says, bloody hell, looks like the Bearded Men's Clubs. Let's change that with first-time caller Lewis Robertson. Lewis.
Get that beard growing.
Chaps, how you doing?
Get that beard growing, Lewis.
You see, I could make the comment about receding now that you've seen me, so apologies.
It's got that thing, the ascent of man, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's great to see you, Lewis. Really good. Please you could join us. What are you thinking?
I just wanted to address a point that I've seen quite a lot today, really, in that a lot of people have said about potentially with the move that Cook's made, telling some of the younger players that they're not needed, that's going to devalue them. I just wanted to stop and think about the role of Mark Ashton in all of this. And if you take Adam Webster as a really good example at Bristol City, with the type of calibre of player we're potentially bringing in, let's look beyond just League One. We get into the Championship, all of a sudden some of these players are going to be worth £5-10 million, which is going to eclipse anything that any of our current players are going to fetch at the moment. And any shortfall, let's say Dazelle from being £2 million as a result of being told he's available for transfers worth $1 million. Well, we've got to look bigger than that. We've got to look at, the whole strategy over the next couple of years, which Mark Ashton's going to play a massive part in. And if you look at like Ivan Toney as an example, good season in Championship, in League One, went to the Championship, and now regardless of what happens with Brentford, he's going to be worth a hell of a lot of money, and with sell-on clauses and things like that. That's what the owners are looking for. As well as success on the pitch, it's driving that business model as well. And I just think we've got to look beyond, he's been with us for 4 or 5 years. If you take the last 3 seasons, 2 of which have been in League One, a lot of the players are flattered to deceive, and there's question marks about every single player in our squad. As much as I rate some of them, and I think we all do, there are question marks. Even KVY with his injury record, Lancaster, had a great season and then had a bad injury. Norwood staying fit, or players not necessarily being up to it. So I really think we've just got to look beyond the sort of current situation, trust in the strategy, trust in Mark Ashton's role, and look at the fact that actually, for the sake of losing a few $100,000 as a result of telling players they can go now, we're probably going to recoup that with success on the pitch.
I agree. Good points. Good points.
Yeah, not bad for a first-time guy out, Lewis. Good grief, man. You've been doing this for a while.
Nailed it.
He killed it.
You hit the point on the head though, because that's what it's about. It's a business, right? And in businesses, sometimes you have to cut your losses, and effectively, that's what we're going to have to do to then, invest in a different product or player or whatever. That, as you said, Mike Ashton did. Adam Webster. What did they pay Webster for us? 3 million, 4 million.
Yeah.
And then he went for what, 20+ million within a season and a half. It's.
But put it this way: all we're talking about business dealings and how we're going to sell on players, and we're going to bring in a really good squad. We're going to invest. 23 games ago, I would have bitten your arm off and half of your torso to be even having this conversation. We're talking about what kinds of players with an S on the end we're going to bring in to make our squad better, with investment, with structure. We're talking about getting rid of the ones we don't like. Well, we couldn't do that because we couldn't attract anyone or afford anyone. 23 games ago, I'd have ripped your arm off to have this conversation. I really like what you were saying, because what I'm hearing is optimism. You sound optimistic about what's coming, and I really like that, because I'm optimistic too. And I would have given anything to have had these conversations halfway through the season, because we thought this was some weird dream parallel universe we're living in. I love the optimism. Call it again.
I think, though, as Ipswich Town supporters, we've become accustomed to disappointment.
Yeah.
And for all the tweets,
certainly under Evans,
and I think even myself, I've had to check myself a few times, because it's easy to resort back to, we've been promised this, it probably won't happen, we'll fall just short. But actually, it only takes listening to the owners over the last couple of weeks, and almost the staggering of the interviews with the owners that Talking Town have done has almost reignited that optimism.
If you can't smile at that first 15 minutes of the Monday, the interview, when the other one came, if you can't sit there with the biggest grin on your face, then don't bother coming to Portman Road. This is great stuff.
And if you're Paul Cook, we've all recognised Paul Cook's neck is on the line if we don't have a good start. He needs to be able to trust those players. And ultimately, regardless of any of our views as to whether he picked the right formation, right lineup over the last 11, 12 games, not one of those players really stepped up to the plate and said, I want to be a part of this next year. You've got to pick me. Dobra did okay. Dazelle improved in the last couple of games. Downs kind of got back. But there's question marks over every single one of them. And if I were Cook, I'd be saying, actually, I know I can bring in players that I can rely on. Either players I've worked with before, players that have been recommended to me, I've been scouting over a long period of time. Because as we say, can he take a gamble on someone like, I don't know, Wolfenden repeating the season that he had, not this season just gone, but the season before, or when he was on loan at Swindon? There's too many question marks over too many players for Cook to be able to hang his hat on and say, I'm going to back you to keep me in a job for the first 10, 15 games of next season.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you're talking about. Sorry, John, go play.
So I was just going to say, Kieran Dyer alluded a little bit to what you said, Lewis, when he was interviewed after the Shrewsbury game, and he made the point about when he was sold and when Titus Bramble was sold, and he said some of our younger players, nobody's after them for big money, are they? Nobody's looking at, and that has got to change, and that is something that Mark Ashton will be addressing with players that come in the door with their potential resale value. And it's just something that hasn't happened at this football club. We buy players either on the wane or at the very limit of their, like Ollie Hawkins, for instance, at the start of this season, we signed him, and there's absolutely no chance in hell we're going to make any money on him if we were to sell him, and that's the thing.
And that's
there you go. So
you are intent on trying to trigger me tonight, you
sorry. No, it's just it's true though, isn't it? It's like we're signing players where we've got no chance of any kind of resale. Stephen Ward, Di Cornell, and Ollie Hawkins. I mean, you don't need to be Einstein or Stephen Hawkings to work out that they weren't going to make any money back.
Never forget sitting down with Talking Cobblers. So tell us about Di Cornell and what, and is he good enough to be a League One goalie? And their first response is no, he's fucking shit. And I just died inside. I just died. I was like, what? It's not what I thought I'd be hearing.
Economic climate, if we think about this time last year when we were about to sign all those players, there were so many clubs talking about we could be on the brink here. Unfortunately, we didn't lose any clubs, or we haven't so far as a result of COVID and everything else. And we managed to get through a season without fans. And I remember last year thinking, this is such a good opportunity for Marcus Evans, now or never. Invest heavily last summer, get us into the Championship, because the Championship is an absolute car crash. And we saw what happened to Sheffield Wednesday last season. Potentially could happen to Derby, could happen to other clubs. Now is the time for us to make our move. And if we act quickly and act smartly with a plan, which I believe we will have, we get in the Championship, we have as good a chance as any. There could be other clubs in a year's time facing points deductions or anything like that. Now is the time we could potentially make our move to get back. We got hit in 2002 with the collapse of the TV deal, and we've never fully recovered. This could potentially be the springboard, because we're going to have money, whereas a lot of clubs won't have.
I love that point of view. I've not heard that before, but it makes perfect sense. Timing is everything in life and in football.
Yeah, but the thing is with
bravo.
You got to remember these talks, and certainly the advanced talks, that were happening before the season even started. So, Marcus was always, maybe he was on the fence or whatever, but there was always a potential that I'm going to sell this here. Why am I? It's like, Ben, you like to use the analogy of cars. It's like, why am I going to sell a car when I've got an agreed price? Well, I don't need to fill it up with petrol. I don't need to valet it. I don't need to service it. Someone's going to take it. So I think there's always that kind of thing. In terms of the thing about, with Kieran Dyer making his points, the difference back then with the Dyers and the Bramble transfers is we were selling to survive, to then reinvest, whereas now we have a bit of backing behind us. We will sell to add to the transfer budget. We got 9 million quid for Tyrone Mings. We saw probably, a tenth of that. In fact, I think the season we cut, not summer just gone, but summer before, we ended up with around about, I think it was about 6 million or something or maybe even 7 million from player sell-on fees, the Webster deal, the Mings deal, and all the rest of it. Not a penny was invested. I think 500 grand was invested into KVY. And I think you'll see that kind of things where, because the business has been going on, you then have to think, well, the thing with like Dazelle signed a contract in December. Why did he sign a contract if, there was bigger ambitions or bigger investments or whatever? Because it was not guaranteed that, okay, we're going to have this player and sign him. Why not just wait for his contract to come down? Why was that? Was it potentially because there is a suitor there that they're doing a bit of business? Mike Ashton's a very savvy guy in terms of businessman, apparently, if you look at his deals. And Mike O'Leary done, great wonders at West Brom anyway. So they're both really good footballing people. And we said it time and time again, we didn't have footballing people doing footballing jobs. We now have that. And this is what it looks like. And because there's all this doom and gloom, like, it's a reset. I get the panic of people. If all these players are going, I get the panic if Evans was still in charge, but he's not. And we got to get that out of us because we're so ingrained with it.
But it's hard, isn't it? It's hard for fans to get on board. And you're right. People have said for so long, we need football brains doing football decisions. But now we've got it, and we're seeing actually grown-up thinking, grown-up business decisions being made in front of us.
It's scary.
We don't understand
We don't know what it looks like. This is brand new, and brand new things are scary. I love
What's
it.
Leo Neal doing at the moment? Wonder what Leo Neal's doing at the moment. What do you reckon he's doing?
Geography tomorrow, 10 o'clock. No, I just like one more thing. I liked what Lewis. I like what Lewis was saying there about checking yourself, because I think that's important as well, about staying positive. Because I'm often Lewis. I'm exactly like you. I'm often like, for fuck's sake, I still have that Evans kind of. But you know what I do to check myself? Yes, and the interviews are fantastic. And if you haven't seen it, click subscribe, and you'll see a whole host of interviews there anyway. But then you've got the interviews, and then you've got the fact that we have been bought out by these owners.
Yeah, people.
I've got family. Wolverhampton's down the road. I've got family there. Grew up in there. Whatever. I saw them get taken over. You see your Leicesters get taken over. You see all these other teams get taken over, and you're always like, when is it going to be Ipswich? When can we get it? The time has happened.
When does the hand of destiny extend its fingers of fate?
You remember that old lottery advert? It could be you.
I've got family who support Bournemouth, so I've, through ties, been on that journey. I remember going to watch them when they were Division 3 in the 90s, and then they went on an incredible journey. Well, Ipswich Town, Europe, and now potentially across the globe have got far more pull than AFC Bournemouth, who did fantastically well. And personally, I hope they go back up. But if you look at us, Bournemouth benefited from a takeover. They made the most of it. They invested shrewdly in the squad. They worked their way up. They got to the Premier League, and they managed to survive for a couple of
seasons. So did Man City. Just going to put that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I bring Josh in. Josh, what did you make of what you're hearing tonight?
Look at that beard, good man.
I agree with some points, but at the same time, getting rid of that many players could also backfire, because what if you don't get other players coming in to replace those ones that have gone? And what if those ones don't go? Then you clog up your squad again and don't leave room for the new ones to come in.
So what would your answer be? How would you do it?
I'd get rid of them slowly. Slowly get rid of players, replace them with other ones, and then slowly build a squad. But I can see the points as in why you lot happy with everyone going, because it's been crap, yes. But I'd get rid of them slower than just chuck them all away, because if you can't
so you're thinking sort of progressive, maybe across 2 transfer windows, see what happens, and then adapt perhaps in January, moving towards the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
But really, when you say it might not work, well, might not working? Because we finished mid-table in League One for 2 years back to back. What's not working? I would never say this club, even if he brings in players of the same level, they're not going to get relegated. You'd have to be a real shocker, and I mean shocker, and then the owners not do anything in January, and I don't mean Alan Judge, all respect to the guy. It's a shit club with shit players at the moment. There's nothing to be scared of in removing any of them.
Roll the dice, come on.
Which is where I was upset on Monday, because I thought we'd wake up Tuesday morning with James Norwood and Ollie Hawkins, both only players under contract in the striking department, still there. So when there wasn't, I was a bit, okay, is this promises repackaged?
Do you honestly think, so if I come back to my point I was talking about with Dazelle signing his contract earlier, do you think that there is not possibility that there are deals that are already been agreed potentially? Because remember, we're looking at it from a point of view as these have had their extensions triggered. Potential suitors to these clubs are looking at them and they're saying, well, they've still got another year left on their deal anyway, because by default they'll probably take that option, right? So it's any kind of talks that have been happening over the last 6 months or whatever with particular players, it's not going to change the value on that. So I think, because like I said, we've got footballing people in footballing positions that know the market, got the contacts and all the rest of it. I think the players that Cook has said, have got to go, will go. I do agree with what Josh is saying there. And we said it, before, that it won't be a case of, 56 players going in January. I mean, in this summer transfer window, there will be a bit, carried over till January or whatever. But that's what he's embedding his team and doing his team. There was a comment there earlier about, we've got a potential that because these upset the players and all the rest of it, that they don't want to play for him. And it could be a Hurst thing part 2. The difference with this and the Hurst part is Hurst was the new guy there, and Evans and Chambers and Evans and the players had that relationship. So it was very much player power. Here you've got the manager that has, told you on this show, the owners have told you on these shows that they are giving everything. I think Bake Bake said, he'd do everything he can to back Paul Cook. And if he doesn't get us out of the championship, into the championship next year, it's on him. So they are backing him. And I think, we've got to be a bit more positive. We've been taken over, and let's look to the future now. Reset.
Absolutely. Callie, love you. Appreciate it, Callie. Been Colin in. Colin. No, he's not ready yet. He's not ready.
I was just going to say, Paul Cook said it himself. Give me one transfer window and one full pre-season. And if we get the signings in early, as in when Mark Ashton comes, and as Callie said, I think Adam said as well, deals will potentially be lined up, ready to be signed early June, in the door for when the start of pre-season comes. So potentially that whole thing around team bonding and allowing things to gel. Plus also they're going to be doing double training sessions, so they'll be twice as prepared as we were last summer, and there'll be players that can cope with that. I think that, again, that comes down to we're ingrained to think lastminute.com, a couple of days before the season starts or last couple of days of the transfer window, and we haven't replaced the player. Whereas I think things will be very different. So I completely understand, Josh, with your concerns about it all being too quick.
Yeah, definitely, I understand that.
Things will be in place. And I actually think some of the players have had their deals triggered because they're actually going to be make weights in other deals. Yeah. So, for example, I don't know, Accrington are interested in Jackson, for example. Well, can we combine that with an offer for, I don't know, Cody Bishop or I've forgotten the other chap's name who plays up front for them. But, you know, there
Dion
could be
Charles.
potential interesting players. And we thought, okay, well, we're going to trigger that. And we've actually got a deal already agreed with the
It
club,
might
and
be
they know
brilliant business, like really forward-thinking, long-term strategy business. And the reason we're scared is because we don't know what that looks like. We've forgotten. It doesn't apply to us.
Exactly.
Well, Ashton's doing stuff in the background, isn't he? He's not going to walk in on the 1st of June.
He's already on the clock. He's already on the clock.
O'Leary's
like,
there.
what's going on here? Exactly.
O'Leary's
yeah,
obviously there, and there's a phone, and there's WhatsApp, and there's all those sorts of different things. And just, you know, he's not in a box in Bristol City, you know, where he's like, you can't talk to the outside world.
He's not going to walk in on the 1st of June going, right, what's going on here then?
Yeah. Who are you? You're Norwood. Meal's out. Right, Fisherman, welcome in. What do you make of life in the
Mikey?
Universe?
Yeah, good. I don't know how good my signal is, but I've been watching Twitter today, and it's people are losing their brains. They really are.
What has been said on Twitter? What is the general consensus?
Losing their mind. It's Twitter. It's Twitter.
Over, they're just losing their
What is it you
over,
called it? What is it
over
you called it, Mike? What is it you called it? You called it
new ownership-ophobia.
Right.
You know,
got it.
Explain that to us all,
Fear of
myself
change
included.
It's fear of letting go of Evans and allowing change at the club. Do you know what I mean? It's, you know, we've got.
It's a very human thing to think, though. To be fair, it's a very human thing to think. A lot of people do this. You can stay in a long time in a crap relationship, a long time.
Yeah, but
I think quite a few people have said about the heart being ripped out.
Yeah,
13 years too long.
You know, we're 13 years too long. We've got a new relationship now with people that clearly know what they're doing. You know, they've got a track record of it with Phoenix rising, and now we've got new ownership, new ideas. We've got a manager that's already been proven. I was questioning a couple of his choices of, you know, performances and stuff. It hasn't worked out great, but look what he's had around him. I mean, we got crap at the back, crap in goal, crap in the midfield, and crap up front. You know, and people are sitting there stressing over the fact that he needs to clear all that lot out. Well, you know, I've got a skip in my back garden. If you want to put them in, I'm quite happy to put them in there. You know, none of them players are worth a contract.
You need a very tall bin for Holy is fitting.
Do you know what I mean? I'm sick of hearing how our players have got potential. You know, you get one little bit of flair and everybody loses their brains. If Kenlock's last name was Dazelle, he would be £1 million player because he's got more assists than Dazelle. Do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. Just get rid of the lot. The ones who can't be bothered, who couldn't be bothered, and who's been proven this year, proven over this last season. Get rid of them, and let's bring in some quality and get out of this division. And
Mike, me and you have got to have a beer sometime, man. Me and you have got to have a beer sometime. Amen.
I tweeted earlier, and I'm happy to make a bet with anyone. In 3 years' time, Ipswich Town will be in a higher place, playing at a higher level than 95% of the current squad.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
I'd take the over on that one. That's a good one.
I would take that.
I don't know. That's
98% of the squad.
Yeah.
I think some of the players will move on and they'll potentially go on and progress and have really good careers. But as you said earlier, for whatever reason, it's not worked out here. And I just think we're now on a different trajectory to a lot of the current players and their current ceiling in terms of
Gotta hope
ability.
so. Yeah. Gotta hope so. I'm sadly old enough to remember the Evans £50 note saga. So once bitten, twice shy, and all that. But I certainly would probably go higher than that, Lewis. I think this squad's vastly overrated.
Create the pool. Oh, I'm in on that.
Yeah, I like that. I really do like that. Let's Josh, I do appreciate it, buddy. Thanks ever so much. Colin, you're our last caller.
Colin, we love you, man.
Because this
jab
is kicking my backside. How are you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you, Martin. How are you? All right?
Yeah, I'll be fine, hopefully, tomorrow. What do you make of this evening's conversation? And it's your round, by the way. Mine's a pint.
No, very, very interesting. I just think that we just got to bide our time, and we've just got to we've got to be patient, I believe. All these things are going on in the background, and we just got to be patient. I agree with Mike. We've got to this stage where everybody's absolutely bored stiff of what's been going on. It's no good going back on it now. We all want to clear out. We've all wanted that, or most of us have. So let's just get on the roller coaster and let's go for the ride.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you, Colin. Get them all out, get them gone. Trust the process. It's like when you have a bad tummy, you got to have a shitty 10 minutes of diarrhea to get out your system. You know it's going to be horrible. It's going to stink, but once it's out there, you'll walk away from the toilet feeling great. Yes.
Okay. Well, I love you, man. Good quality.
It's like what was said in the chat earlier on about the owners. Ben brought it up. I must admit, I really trust these people. I hope I'm proved to be right. I think they've come across as really nice people.
Yeah.
Very, very approachable, very likable, and very, very nice to speak. Very, very nice to talk to. And you
combed your hair. You combed your hair for the owner, Colin. You didn't for us tonight.
No, I'm a little bit tired tonight, Ben. If I'm honest,
Yeah, not good enough for you. I get it.
Had quite a hard day today. Yeah, But
have you found the club yet, Colin, about Liam Gibbs' new contract?
I haven't. No, I can't.
Well, get on it, man.
No, I can't say too much tonight because I've had a text from Trace and I've texted back and we're trying to organise something. So
is that Tracy Gibbs?
Yeah, but I can't say too much because.
Have a drink, Colin. Let's get this out of you. What are you drinking?
I've mentioned that before, Colin. You dark horse, yeah.
Oh, he's a mole.
Brilliant.
No, I know we lost last night, but I'm gonna probably do something still, because I think they absolutely deserve it.
Absolutely do. Coxie's comments. Well, the podcast has a diary analogy. Only the talk in town. Felix though Blue. They've already tried to rename those with the days. Just wait and see. In the no goat says Ipswich Jules. Neil Perks. It's all that crumble, Colin. It's all that crumble. He loves a good bit of crumble on a Sunday. This Colin.
Cribble.
I certainly do. Especially a bit of rhubarb crumble. It's lovely.
Amen. Yeah.
I've not had rhubarb in years. I've got to be honest. Right. We've done an hour and 15. We've killed it.
We've got the rhubarb behind the iconic shed.
Where we're going to do a podcast live from the iconic shed in the summer. Talking Town, absolute piss up. Bring it on. Lewis, you've made it good stint there. I love it, man. Come back to us, won't you? Come back to us.
Come back, man. Great points tonight.
Really good points. Appreciate
it. The thing is, Martin, in the iconic shed, it's full of Ipswich memorabilia as regards photos and cuttings and that. But all of the ones that are in there are good players.
Oh, this is going to be the best piss up ever.
You mean there's no? Is there any drilling cut ups in there? Is there any drilling cut ups in there?
No.
Oh.
He's in the
There's a couple. There's a couple of PM in his underpants just after we won the UEFA Cup and stuff like that. Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
Yes, that's true. That is.
There we go. There we go. Well, right. Last words as we round up on this very professional show, as we always do. Half the content we designed didn't even get spoken about. Monday's show will be fun. Who wants to go last? Then any final thoughts, as Jerry Springer would say? No, I love that. That's fine. You can support us on Ko-Fi. Head to the link there.
I'll go. I'll give you a 20-second one.
Go on in. Far away.
Keep the faith. Anything worth doing is worth doing correctly and slowly. Nothing ever good was done in haste. So I think what you said in your podcast, Guv, Trust the process. Trust the process. I think we'll be having a very different conversation in 3 months. Trust the process.
Trust the process.